Good morning, everybody. Sorry, I'm a couple minutes late. I believe I am on live now. Good morning. Hi. If you are here this morning, just let me know you are here. Welcome, everybody. Oh boy, I don't know how many days we have been in quarantine now. This is 7 o'clock in New Jersey, and this is the last part of a four-part series of a small mini series I created called Calm Yoga. I really thought that we could use this sort of as a collective to ground ourselves during this crisis. So I hope you have your mat. Props wise, bring a couple of blocks if you have them. If you don't have blocks, you can have some thick books or a couple of books. I would also recommend that you have a strap today. So a strap can look like this, a long one. We're going to be putting it around our leg like that. So if you don't have a strap, maybe you can use a long belt or maybe a long scarf. Something like that will work fine. So this is an all levels welcome class. I'm going to be going at a slower pace. This is a sort of a mindful class. I'm going to be leaving a lot of room for awareness. And I just want to quickly go over a couple of concepts so that you can keep it in your head as you do the poses in this class. One thing I like to point out is hugging the midline. And for those who've taken this class before, apologize for the repetition, but you know what? It's good to hear it over again. So, midline, when I say hug the midline, I'm talking about the center line of your body. And when you want to hug it, you think about um, sort of gathering your energy toward the center of your body. Okay, so there is some sort of like a pulling, not a clenching, because then you'll start to collapse, but you want to remain expanded and yet have this sense of strength in the midline. And that's going to help a lot with stability in your core. Now, another concept I'd like to go over is root to rise. Rooting to rise like a tree. The roots go all the way down, creating this very, very stable feeling. And then the trunk in your body starts to rise up to the sky. So you really have, um, you know, you really have two ends just reaching infinitely towards both directions. Good morning, Mike. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining. Hope you're feeling good today. I'm actually feeling a little wired. My coffee is almost gone, so I'm a little bit a little different than the last class where I was very tired. Okay, so root to rise. I hope you understand that, and I will be giving you that cue as well. So we take the information from the earth as we're rooting down first, and then we rise up. So it's always in that order, because if we don't root first, then we kind of feel ungrounded. We feel like we're just kind of floating up there, we're rising, and it's a totally different sensation to root down first. Now, this other concept of a balance between ease and effort, sukha versus sithira, those are the words in Sanskrit, is a beautiful concept that you want to keep in mind. This effort and ease. This feeling between, oh, this feels so good, but yet not so good that you're just going to pass out or just lie down, like a floppy noodle. You want to have a sense of a pillar, almost like a pillar inside of you that's very, very strong, but yet you're relaxed and enjoying what you're doing. So at any point, if you have any pain, I really encourage you to listen to that pain, listen to your body, come out of that pose, or make any modifications that you need to do. Okay, so going back to the midline, I just want to say one thing. When you think about your midline today, when we do some static poses, if try to find a point in front of you, like a non-moving point, like a drishti, where you can focus on that point as you hug that midline. Just think about that today, because that will help you focus even more. Okay, so inhale and exhale cues. Try to follow along to my cues, but if you're out of sync, don't worry about it. The more important thing is that you are with your breath and that you're in the moment with your body, because this is your practice. Okay, and breathing through the nose. So there is a Sanskrit word ujjayi. That's a new word I'm going to use. Maybe you already know it. Is breathing through the nose, and when you have a slight constriction in your throat, just very slight, you can hear it. It's an audible breath through your nose. It builds heat, it filters the air, and it's a great way to build concentration. So I encourage you to try this ujjayi breath. You can also think of fogging up a mirror. That's another way to create the ujjayi breath. So today we're going to do the fourth part of this yoga series called the M in calm is for meditate. Now, yoga was actually created as a preparation for meditation. And I found yoga about 9, 10 years ago. And I just want to just talk to you really, really briefly, just a couple minutes, about how I found yoga and meditation. So, now meditation and yoga is a way to help you see clearly. When you do this practice, you begin to kind of clear up the muddy waters, that is your self, your mind. When I was really young, I was born in South Korea. I experienced early trauma coming to the country, being an immigrant, being outcast and bullied a lot. And I also suffered from emotional abuse from, I guess, my family environment, my home environment, and also in my sort of my peers. From my peers, I got bullied. So I experienced a lot of early trauma. So I really got shut down my feelings, and I really got good at numbing. So into my adolescence and college years, you know, I engaged in activities like substance abuse, things where I didn't have to feel. So a good part of my younger life, really kind of felt a little dead. So I don't know if you could relate to that. Um, and because I never felt accepted or felt like I belonged to anything. My number one aim, it seemed like, was to try to fit in, try to be accepted, because I was never good enough. I'm sure you could relate to that. That's a common thing that most people feel. And in order to fit in, I had to change who I was. I changed myself and strove so hard through eating disorders. I suffered harmful behaviors, which led to depression, social anxiety, to try to prove my worthiness to others, not myself, but to others. And I still came up short. So here I was feeling completely numb, living to please others. And I just got so focused on that I didn't know who I was anymore. Um, so, but I always knew, I think, that deep inside there was someone wiser that was just wanting to come out. I had met that person from time to time that guided me and saved me a couple of times. So I wanted to get back to that. So I started to look inward. And that's how I kind of found this practice. So this practice has helped me, and it's still a practice. So I am not a Buddha by any means, but to see myself more clearly, you know, to see my truer nature. And meditation and yoga really help with that. Meditation in particular, you're sitting there in silence a lot of thoughts come up, and I became a little bit better at watching my thoughts. And for the first time, I was a watcher, not a believer of my thoughts. I didn't get carried away with my thoughts. I began to just notice them and let them pass, even maybe even holding them with a little compassion. That was a huge thing for me. And I'm going to share a little bit of meditation at the end, maybe 6 minutes. And this is it's a meditation that is based in a Buddhist practice, Vipassana, and it's you can call it mindfulness meditation. There's another type of meditation that I've gotten into, which is loving kindness meditation, which really opens the heart and helps you feel connected to others and in relationships to human beings, the earth, etc. So that's how I came to meditation and yoga. I just wanted to share that with you because this is really a sacred practice for me, and it's, I think, changed and saved my life. So, okay, with that, I'm going to have another bit of coffee, and we'll go ahead and lie down on your mat. Okay, lie down on your back. Just invite you to, this morning, just letting your bones rest. Taking a deep breath and exhaling all the way out. I invite you to even close your eyes. I'm going to ring a bell, and when you hear it, just want you to settle down even more. Letting your being just settle. I want you to scan your body. What are the points in your body that is touching the ground? If you were on a beach, what would your imprint look like in the sand? Any parts of your body that are tingling, that are aching, that perhaps need a little bit more attention today? Noticing what is coming up for you inside your head and your heart. Just noticing. You don't have to get carried away. Just notice what is there. And you can say good morning to it and let it pass. Continuing to breathe deeply. Now, when you're ready, we'll bring one knee towards your body, holding that leg, squeezing it towards your chest. Maybe you can roll your ankles a little bit. Feel free to breathe out of your mouth. Good morning. And letting that go, bring the other knee towards your chest, squeeze. Rolling your ankle, waking that up. Now bringing both knees into your chest. We're going to inhale as we're on the ground, when our head is on the ground. Inhale. And as you exhale, bring your nose to your knee, making your body into a tight ball. And exhale, letting that go. Let's do that again. Inhale. Exhale, tight ball, squeezing. And letting that relax. Now, keeping your knees in the palm of your hand, I want you to try and wiggle around a little bit and see if you could find your sacrum. Sacrum is a triangular shaped bone. It's sort of a flat bone on the base of your spine. And see if you can, I can't tell you exactly where to put your knees because everybody's body is different. But try to see if you can find that bone. And when you find that bone, try to give yourself a massage with the muscles around that bone that are connecting to the bone, the tendons. And we hold so much tension in our lower backs that when we do this for ourselves, it's such a lovely thing. So I invite you to just make small circles around that sacrum bone. Getting very subtle here, like a whisper, right, Mike? Now go in the other opposite direction, just gently, going at your own pace, giving yourself some love to your sacrum, and noticing how that feels for you. Now, we can separate our knees apart and make circles with your knees in opposite directions. So you're starting to open up your hips. Breathing here freely. And now going the opposite direction. Here we go. Waking up those areas. Now coming into happy baby, we take our feet into our hands. You can hold the inside of your feet or you can hold the outside of your feet. I've been doing the outside of my feet for a long time, but just recently I started to hold the inside of my feet and it's a different feeling. And I'm kind of grooving on this right now. So just let your arms hang. Let the gravity do the work. Your arms are hanging from your feet and just feeling the stretch that it gives the hips and the inner thighs, or maybe the outer thighs. And rocking back and forth gently, massaging the organs in the back of your body. Good morning. Good morning. And then when you're ready, you can let that go. Now, you can bring your strap, okay? And as you're lying down, you can take one strap and place it on your foot as so, okay? And you'll have both hands on the strap and your arms are relatively straight. And you're just going to pull the strap towards you and your foot is flexed, your top foot is flexed, and you're just going to give yourself a nice hamstring stretch by just gently pulling it towards your body. Right. Waking that up. Hello. Now we're going to make gentle, small circles in any direction you feel. Just choose one direction And the circles will start to become a little larger, a little larger. Okay, larger still, and larger. And then when you're ready, we can go in the opposite direction, still doing the large circle in the opposite direction. And as we keep doing this, our circles become a little bit smaller, smaller. Okay, great. Now I'm going to change my position. You stay where you are. Okay, I hope you can see this. I think you can. Great. So what we're going to do is we will lower one hand. So if your right leg is up, your right hand is on the strap, okay? And your arm is straight. We're going to use the other hand and put it on your hip bone, your left hip bone, and you're going to help it ground. So you're going to gently push that hip bone down and make sure it doesn't rise up, okay? So we're going to inhale here. And as we exhale, we gently open that hip up, letting your leg fall. You can have a bend in your knee. That's okay. You listen to your body and see how you need to modify. Just gently letting that extended leg fall to wherever you feel that stretch, but it's not painful. You're feeling that balance between ease and effort. Gently reminding yourself to ground your hips down. Breathing deeply. And on your next inhale, you can bring that leg up to center. Now, what are we going to do here? Oh, yes, that's right. We're going to keep that hand grounded on the hip, and then we're going to send that, keep that leg straight. Send it to about 11 o'clock. This is a good IT band stretch right here on the outer part of the leg. So we're going to just keep that leg stretched around 11 o'clock, and you should feel a stretch in the IT band. And then when you're ready, you can send that leg all the way across to the ground. And your arm, the same side, goes to the opposite direction along with your gaze. If you can ground that shoulder down, so both shoulders are grounded, breathe into your ribs. Feeling this delicious stretch. Or maybe it's not so delicious, but just listen to your body. Be with whatever arises. When you're ready, you can come back to center. And we're switching our leg, putting the other leg into the strap, holding it with both hands. We pull that strap gently towards us for a nice hamstring stretch. Breathing into that stretch, deepening. Making small circles in one direction. Now allowing that circle to widen and making very big circles. And now changing direction as we're still making those huge circles. And as they get smaller and smaller, back to center. Breathing. Okay. Now, this is your left foot that's extended. Your left hand is holding the strap only. You can drop the other arm and drop it toward the side. Inhale here. And exhale. We let that leg drop. There's tension in that strap. Making sure that your shoulders are grounded. Oh yes, we want to keep that hand grounded on the hip. Your right hand grounded on the right hip to remind yourself to ground that hip down. Just noticing what comes up here for you. If thoughts come up about what you have to do today, just let it bubble up and let it pass away. You are here for yourself right now. And on an inhale, we bring that leg up to center. We can switch hands on the strap, and we can let that other hand drop down to the ground. Or actually, the other hand goes to the hip, excuse me. And reminding that hip to ground, we can pull that extended leg to about 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, depending on how flexible you are. That extended arm is straight. You should feel that stretch quite nicely there. Are you balancing the ease and effort right now? Feeling that stretch in your IT band. Remember that hip is grounded. Now you can let that hip go and let your extended leg just gently fall to the ground. Your opposite arm stretching out to the side along with your gaze and breathing into your rib cage. Filling your whole body up with light breath. Feel free to sigh out of your mouth. Then when you're ready, you can let that go. You can let go of your strap. And then just come to our bellies. Oh, just flip over like a pancake. Well, pancake sounds nice maybe this morning. Come to our bellies and just rest your head, your forehead on the ground. Just enjoying resting here after stretching your legs and your hips. Just let your body melt, your belly melt, your legs melt, your hands melt. Just let the ground cradle you. Staying here for one more breath. And when you're ready, you can slide your palms to the sides of your rib cage. Ground down the tops of your feet and your pubic bone. And on an inhale, we're going to rise up our hearts, keeping our neck neutral into cobra. Take 2 breaths here. Noticing the swelling of your body as you breathe in and out. And gently push into the earth, sending yourself back into devotional pose. Breathe out of your mouth here. On an inhale, coming back up, down to your bellies, into cobra again, grounding down. And inhaling, rising up your heart, shining your heart forward. 2 breaths. Leaning your palms into the ground, sending your body back into devotional. Now on an inhale, walk your palms over to one side of your body and then melt down, giving yourself a nice side body stretch. Gently lifting your head, walking your hands over to the other side and melting your body down. Your forehead is on the mat. Breathing into the side body here. Coming back to center, we rise up into table. Now we ground down, we ground our palms down into the earth. Your palms are right under your shoulder sockets and your knees are under your hip sockets. We hug our midline and we push down into the earth so much with our toes and with our hands that we start floating up, our floating table, hugging our midline. Stay here for 5 counts. And we push into the earth, sending our hips back into downward facing dog. If you would rather do puppy pose or dolphin pose, you can just come down to your forearms if that feels better for you this morning. And just let your head hang. Start pedaling your feet. Bringing a deep bend into your knees, looking forward. We walk up to the top of our mat in forward fold. You can have a slight bend on your knees here. Your weight is toward the balls of your feet, just letting your head hang down. You can hold your arms. You can let your hands rest on the crux of the opposite arm and just letting that add to the gravity, letting your head just being pulled down, your body sending it to the earth. And on your inhale, you can rise up to half back, flat back, sending your shoulders away from your ears, and then melting down again. Now, ground your feet so hard into the earth that you start rising up, sending your vertebra, stacking one on top of the other, very, very slowly. As you stack your vertebra, think about sending breath in between, stacking slowly, one at a time, until your head is the last to come up. Roll your shoulders up and back, palms facing forward. We come to mountain pose. Settling here for a second. Bring your hands to your heart. And just for this moment, I want you to close your eyes. And think about the midline in your body, running all the way down to the center of the earth, grounding through your toes, your 4 points of your feet. And this midline reaches all the way down to the earth and then comes right back up through your body and shoots out through the crown of your head. Feeling how infinitely spacious and grounded you are and connected. Bringing your intention back to why you came and showed up this morning. Smiling at any thoughts that come to your mind, whether they're pleasant or unpleasant. And let that go. Just let your hands drop to the side. We're going to do a little bit of walking meditation today. So I want you to come to the back of your mat. And we're going to gently shift our weight to the right. Can you do it so that maybe 50% of your weight is on your right foot? Now 80%, 90%. Now shift over to your left side, 30%, 50%, 80%. Great. Now come back to center. Now we take our first step. Taking our time here, feeling our bodies shifting weight. Noticing the parts of your feet that touch the ground. What is the moment when you pick up your other foot? Just taking your time here. This is a very subtle practice, walking meditation. And when you get to the top of the mat, gently lean your weight to one side, and we gently walk backwards. Focusing on the weight shifting in your body. The sensations that arise. It could be completely unrelated. You might have thoughts that you haven't had in a long time. These things happen. Just being with your body, with your breath. Awesome. I hope you enjoyed that walking meditation. Now we're going to do just a short sequence of yoga poses that'll maybe build a little heat, and then we'll sit for 6 minutes. Okay, so come to the top of your mat, and I'm just going to do the side view here. We're going to come to warrior one. So at the top of your mat, take a step back with one of your legs, a comfortable step back. Maybe that back leg's toe, maybe it's pointing to the corner of your front mat. And sink down so that your front knee is over your ankle. Your hips are facing the short edge of the mat, okay? We're just going to put our hands on our hips here and just gently do some movement here. And as you sink down, just think about feeling heavier at your tailbone. Inhale, sinking down. Inhale, sinking down. Now staying in this position, remember your hips are facing the front of the mat. Your knee is right above your ankle. Hugging your midline, find a point right in front of you that's not moving. And on an inhale, your arms come up to the sky. Your heart opens up, warrior one. You're hugging that midline. Your feet are grounded into the mat, so much so that they feel like they're pulling the mat apart. And then you can come back to center here. You can straighten out that front leg. And coming to warrior two, we open up our hips to the side of the mat now. The back leg is turned out so that the heel of the front leg bisects the arch of the back leg, okay? The knee is still above the ankle. Hands on our hips, breathing in, we straighten our leg. Exhale, sink down, heavy. Inhale, sink down, exhale. Inhale, raising our arms to the side. Gaze past your front fingertips, picking a point in front of you, hugging your midline. If you start to feel a burn, just breathe into it. If it's painful, get out of it. Staying focused here. And now we can straighten that leg and glide your body forward and bring your hand to your shin or to a block. And we rise up that top hand, opening our chest. Stay here for 2 breaths. And on an inhale, we rise up. Now pivot that foot so that both of your feet, your toes, are facing the side of your mat. And if you have your blocks, you can put them in front of you. Hands on your hip. Get grounded here first, feeling the 4 corners of your feet. Inhale and exhale. Coming to a flat back, your hands come to the blocks, or if you don't have blocks, you can use your fingertips. Now there's a slight shining of your heart forward. Just pause here for a second. And then exhale, fall forward, all the way down, letting your head hang heavy. On your next inhale, coming back to your blocks or your fingertips, we heel toe our legs so that we're about hips distance. We put our hands on our hips, slight bend to the knee, hugging our midline. We rise up. Awesome. Let's do the other side. Come to the top of your mat. We take a comfortable step back. The other side. Okay. Knee is above the ankle in a 90 degree. That back leg, the toes of the back leg may be pointing to the corner of the mat. Your hips are facing the short edge of the mat, and your feet are grounded and stretching the mat apart. Straightening your leg, we inhale. Exhale, we drop. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, we drop heavy. One more time. Inhale. And we drop. Inhale, our arms go up to the sky. Heart shines open. Maybe feeling some gratitude that you are here today, taking care of yourself, your mind and body. Picking a point in front of you, hugging your midline. Relaxing your jaw. Your fingertips are still energized. And then we can bring our hands together, straightening that leg. And then we pivot our hips open to the side of the mat. Your front heel is bisecting the back arch into warrior two. The knee is above the ankle in the front. And hands on our hip. We straighten the knee to rise up and inhale. And bend and sink down. Inhale. Sink down heavy. Staying here. We inhale. Our arms come up to the side. Our gaze goes past our front fingertips, picking a point. Hugging our midline. Being aware that you want to keep your knee tracking along with your toes so it's not veering off to the side. Keeping that knee straight. Relaxing your jaw. There's ease and there's effort. Straightening that leg. We glide our body a little bit forward and sending that hand to a block or to your shin and raising the top arm. Opening up your heart. Take a few breaths here. What is available for you today? Opening up to that possibility. On your next inhale, rising up, pivoting your feet so that both of your toes are pointing to the side of your mat, bringing your blocks, if you have them, in front of you, hands on your hip, grounding down through the four corners of your feet. Inhale through the crown of your spine, making it long. And exhale, we hinge at our hips, bringing our fingertips to the block or to the ground with a flat back. Pausing here for a second. And then exhale, melting forward. Feel free to make any kinds of sounds or fluttering your lips here. And on your next inhale, raising up your heart, your hands come up to your blocks or to your fingertips, heel toe your feet to about hips distance. Slight bend in your knees, hands to your hip, hugging your midline. You rise up. Okay, great. Now widen your stance a little bit and we come down to a squat. You can sit on a block, or if you want more of a stretch, you can just hang out here with your elbows in the insides of your knees, giving it a gentle nudge outward, feeling the stretch in your inner groin. I invite you to close your eyes here for just a moment in your squat. Noticing what has come up for you here today so far. Any self-critical self-talk. I just invite you to breathe into that space. Be kind to it. Make friends with it. And if that's too hard, you can just say hi. I see you. I see you. And we come back to sitting position. Let's lie down. We're almost finished. Bringing both knees to your chest. Give yourself a big hug. To a wall. Bringing any kind of organic movement you wish. And then you can let that go, extending your legs out. And give yourself a full body stretch. Reaching your hands out, spreading your legs and your feet and your toes as long as you can, stretching it out. And then letting it go. Dropping down. Just resting here for 1 minute. Noticing the imprint of your body on the sand right now. Is it a little different than the way it was at the beginning of this class? And think about sending light to any parts of your body that need attention at this time. And send some care and attention to that area. I see you. I can hold you with care and compassion. And when you're ready, you can come to the side of your body and push down with your palm to a sitting position. We'll just sit here for about 6 minutes. I invite you to scoop out the flesh from under your sit bones and just sitting here in easy pose. I invite you to close your eyes, or if it's more comfortable for you, you can leave your eyes slightly open, gazing at a focal point, or you can just close your eyes. Just checking in with your state right now after the work you've done. What arises for you at this time? Were you hard on yourself? Were you free with yourself? Just noticing the attitude that you have in your mind and letting that go. I want you to bring your attention to your breath. Notice how it fills your body. And right now, I don't want you to control your breath at all. You're breathing normally. You're just noticing where the breath goes. What are the sensations when you take the inhale? What are the sensations when you take the exhale? And I just allow you, or sorry, I invite you to continue focusing on your breath. And when thoughts arise, see if you can watch them. See if you can pretend that you're in a movie theater and you are seeing a screen. Which are your thoughts? And there is a watcher inside of you that notices what comes on the screen and just let it go to the next scene. And we're not going to get carried away with the storyline. Because our thoughts are passing. We don't have to identify with our thoughts. Now, if you like, you can bring one hand to your heart. Breathing through that hand into your heart. Giving yourself the compassion, the care, the gratitude for showing up today. And letting this gratitude expand into a huge bubble to include all of the people who are working for our good right now, to help others, to inspire others, frontline workers, essential workers, and for those who are struggling, those who are feeling overwhelmed with children at home or with feelings of isolation and loneliness, sending your compassion to include those people. I invite you today, before we close, to notice your thoughts. When you catch your thoughts, See if you can be the watcher in the movie. Don't get carried away with the storyline. Just give it a nod and let them pass. And hold yourself with compassion. Bringing your hands together. Namaste. Thank you so very much. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. Thank you for doing this for yourself and for the world. Have a great day.